Hello, everybody, and welcome to the iTricks Interviews podcast. I am Justin Robert Young, and joining me right now is a good friend of iTricks. He is another Sunshine Stater, our friend Kostya Kimlat. How you doing, Kostya?
Good. How are you guys today?
I'm doing fantastic. And I almost forgot to mention you were also a finalist in our first ever iTricks Trick of the Year tournament with your Roadrunner call. So it was a very... you integrate with the history of the site. You're always part of first.
I'm glad to be part of it. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, we'll get right into the questions. Outside of magic, who inspired you?
You know, I remember, honestly, there's so much. There's film, there's literature, so many different things. But I remember the one clear moment when I was in a bookstore and I see a book on the cover and I saw the name David Mamet. And I remember that name seemed familiar. And I remember that he had directed Ricky Jay's show. And I started reading his books, and so much of his writing on theater and all his essays really inspired me when I was young and opened up the world of philosophy and film and so many other things. So I think when I was young, when I was a teenager, all the reading that I did with him and Borges and other writers, that was pretty critical.
Which Mammoth book?
You know what? That one was Make Believe Town. That was the first one, a collection of essays. And then Writing in Restaurants and Some Freaks were the other ones I read, and I just devoured everything I could.
What is it about Mamet and his creative style that really taps into your brain?
You know, well, with that book, it was the collection that he had. He had the Russian heritage. He had the Jewish heritage. He had the connection with magicians. He wrote about theater and film and all these different topics that, when I was a kid, connected to me and made me want to find out more. And the same thing happened in magic. Every book that I found, every source that was cited in there would make me want to search and go out and find the original work. And that was the best thing, just searching and going out there, reading the books. That was the nicest thing about it. You know, I wish I had more time these days to just sit back and read the way I did when I was a kid.
What would you tell a young Kostya Kimlat?
Organize. Time management is key. I would tell myself to perform everything from the Tarbell course. That's what I would tell myself. I read all those books. I went through all the tricks. But when I was young, I only did the card tricks. I was scared to do all the other non-card stuff. And nowadays, I perform so much non-card material, and I've gone through those books. If I had done that when I was younger, man, I don't know what I could be doing right now.
well, you started with the time management thing. Did you waste a lot of time when you were young, or was it maybe indecision on committing to one area?
Yeah, you know, I would like to do 10 things at once, and I would always wait till the last day to write my paper. And so these days I have a million things going on, and the hardest part is just making sure that you create urgency for yourself and get things done on time. And if I were to start that younger, I think it'd be a much better habit right now.
So an early habit would be identifying priorities and making sure they get done.
Definitely.
Where do you see magic on television going?
All right, I'm gonna throw this idea out there. Okay, you can take this or leave it. I'm thinking that soon there's going to be a reality TV show. Okay, and we're gonna call it Magic Celebrity.
Okay.
And it'll have magicians competing to be a B-list celebrity for their 15 minutes of fame. What do you think?
So I'll take it that you don't think it's a tremendous thing that people are clamoring to get on television.
No. You know what? I think magic on television is great, actually. Don't get me wrong. I love watching the specials. I think anytime magic is popular on television, it helps the masses. It helps me work. It's when people like it, it's great for magic. I think if people are hollering to get on TV, I think that's great. I think it's a great medium, very different. I think a lot of performers maybe should spend more time doing live shows, and the TV eventually will come to them. I just feel like it's too easy to get your 15 minutes of fame and then be done with it. And I think if you were to last and be there for a while, you want to take your time, and I think that's in the live shows and traveling and performing, really.
So do you think that performers are maybe even wasting talent by focusing all on one goal and then sort of leaving it up to the winds of fate after that?
You know, it's tough. I don't know. I'm not a fan of just being judged by, a celebrity audience on television. And I don't know if they're leaving up to chance, because everyone wants to do their own thing and everyone can get their fame in a different way. So it really depends on the performer. I just enjoy the live atmosphere and enjoy the live shows. And I feel like over the long term, if you want to continue performing all your life, that's kind of has to be a major staple of your career.
So let's say somebody's a really, really, really big Kostya Kimlat fan, kind of a younger guy, is on the track to really wants to, he's really focused to get a show, and asks you your advice, what should they do? Is there any one specific thing that that they should bring to a final television product?
You know what? I think be themselves. I think if you try to create a character on television and then you can't live up to that in real life, then your fans and the people who watch you will be disappointed. People want someone who's real. They want to watch someone on television that they feel they can connect with. And when you do have, let's say, the paparazzi fighting after you and they catch you, then if you're no different from the person you are on TV, the audience feels that you're a genuine person. And I think with magic, it's tough to create that because magic gives you a persona that really isn't like you.
Yeah.
But if you can start with that, genuineness is key.
So you would say even personality-wise more so than magically, that you wouldn't, let's say, want to do magic on television that you couldn't do live. You mean even just in terms of your general personality to not be that much different in real life than you are on somebody's television screen?
I think so. I mean, everyone wants to play a character. You can be someone you're not on TV. You can create a new character, and then perhaps you can live up to it in real life. But I think life is easier when you just tell the truth and be honest about who you are. The magic is usually secondary anyways.
As we mentioned at the top of the interview, you are also an inventor and somebody who works live constantly as well as doing lectures and tours. How do you decide what is a good trick that you come up with and what is something that even though you see promise in it and you know it could be a good trick, it is not ready yet and it needs to be worked on more?
I usually know when it's a good trick when I have the eureka moment, because the really good ones come to you in a flash where you just get it and you're so happy. You wake up in the middle of the night to record it, write it down. You know it's a good idea. You know it. When it's a bad idea is usually when the audience tells you. You can spend all your time rehearsing and working and getting ready on all the stuff, but when it comes down to you go out and let's say it's a walk around piece, I'll go to the restaurant and I'll do it at a table. Right away I feel something is missing. And it's usually not technique because I've worked on the technique enough. And it's usually not the routining. Sometimes it's kind of the balancing, going to the pocket, things like that, and the things that work out. But usually it's the presentation that you think is going to work, you think is really going to draw them in, and it just bombs completely. And you have to drop everything, start completely over. And over the course of the night, the audience really teaches you what's going to work.